Hey YouTube, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video, and today I just want to have a little discussion about Blade Show. So much cool stuff there and so many people who covered it. Obviously I was not there, or you would be seeing, footage recorded from various booths, but I have to send a huge shout out to those who were. Thank you so much to those of you who took the time and energy to, instead of just enjoying the show yourself, made a bunch of video content so that all of us who weren't able to be there could enjoy it through you. Of course, Blade HQ probably had the most coverage and did a great job interviewing a bunch of different makers and showing off their new stuff. Pretty exciting stuff. Some of it, of course, we kind of knew what to expect. Others, it's the first time we were able to see some of those knives on video, so that's awesome. Frankie and Birdshot IV did a great job. Number of a bit of booth coverage, and they also, I think, have sort of a summary video up. Dr. Frankie again has a summary video up. Staza23, who did a bunch of interviews. He interviewed different people at different booths and did a really good job with that, and that was really, really enjoyable. He also did some booth coverage, which I found really helpful. Zelric was there representing his own company, Todd Knife and Tool, as well as his channel, as well as We Knives. And so if you're used to seeing Zell on his own channel, he does show up on the Blade HQ video about We Knives, which was pretty interesting. At least I thought so. And then finally, Eugene Kwan, who is probably more well known on Instagram, but has a YouTube channel as well. And I've got to say, two of the, he in his Riot table video covered a couple of the Riot knives that I am most interested in for this year. So huge thank you to him for letting me kind of get a good close look at those knives and drool a little bit, and hope for the time when I'm able to pick those up and handle them personally. So there you go, guys. Those are all the people that I wanted to mention. I've probably forgotten a couple people, and I'm really sorry if, especially if I watched your video and commented and was like, hey, that's really cool, thanks for sharing. It's not on purpose that I forgot you. I really tried my best to take notes as I was watching various Blade Show videos about who I wanted to mention and not miss anyone, but I'm sure I probably have messed up a little. So let's go ahead and get into the main thing that we want to talk about, which is the knives that I'm anticipating, the knives that I'm excited about. And honestly, there were tons and tons and tons of knives mentioned and covered. And so there's no way I can possibly go into all of them. So this is going to be sort of the 10 or so knives that for me were real highlights that I'm really looking forward to. Where possible, I guess I don't have most of the companies represented, but at least these guys were all at Blade Show in some way, shape, or form, and these guys showed up in various videos, so I thought at least getting them on screen would give you something to look at. There will be a review of the Kaiser Corto coming up shortly here. There is the American Lawman. We've got one new ZT, but there was a ZT released, and so let's talk about that first. The Zero Tolerance 0470, another Sinkovich design. Kershaw had already used it for one of their knives this year, and now I'm not going to come up with the name of it. Anyway, I'm sure you guys can share down below. It's the same knife. It's a very similar design to an already released Kershaw, which is pretty cool. The knife is, I don't know, it's a little small for me, so I don't know that I'll pick one up. I'm not just totally blown away by the design. Honestly, between this knife and the 0462, I'm pretty satisfied with my ZT acquisitions for this year. We'll see what happens. Hopefully someone will send me one to check out, and I'll at least be able to share a review with you guys eventually. So the 0470 is a pretty cool looking knife. And, I like what they've done with the carbon fiber. I like the design, but I don't think it's one I'm going to rush out and buy. Now, I do want to go ahead and talk about another company that normally we don't talk about, and that is BRS. BRS is the company that made the Replicant and a couple of other really famous Balisongs, or really well-known Balisongs. I'm not a Balisong guy, so I normally didn't pay any attention to them. And for some reason, I saw a couple of folders in the thumbnail, so I was like, maybe there's going to be some folders in this video, so I'll check it out. So I watched the Blade HQ BRS interview or coverage, and they had some really, really nice folders that they're coming out with. They made the point that they're going to land around a $200 price point, and the one that's on my short list is the Thresher, the Gavco Thresher. I like that design. Normally, I've seen a few Gavco custom Threshers, and they're chisel ground, and I hate that. So, you know, that's a pass, but also I'm not a big custom knife guy. However, I did like the design, and so the fact that BRS is offering one in a production knife is super, super exciting. I'm really, really happy to see that, and that's a knife I really want to get my hands on and is on my short list of knives to buy. The next knife that I want to talk about that, again, I was a little surprised by. Honestly, Rick Hinderer, I don't get too stoked about his interviews, but I wanted to check this one out, and, you know, I had some time, so I started watching, kind of halfway paying attention. And then when he said the full track, which is a larger version of the half track, I was like, wait, what? Because I really liked the design of the half track, but it's just way too small for me. But if you put a 3 3/4 inch blade on that thing, then it gets really, really cool. Now, I've got to say, I'm pretty stoked about this knife, and I definitely am going to be looking at getting my hands on one. So that's a knife, again, that's going on my list as one to check out, possibly one to own. The other cool feature about this is it's specifically designed to come apart easily. Now, Hinderers already do that. I've talked about the fact that my XM18, it just drops apart so easily that it's a dream come true. Now, what's interesting about this knife is it's specifically designed to come apart easily, and it has various washer options available. So I guess not even washers. You can switch out between phosphor bronze, Teflon, or bearings. And that's a really cool option. Now, I'm hoping they all ship with the knife. I have a suspicion, you know, the way Hinderer knives work, where even with the XM18, you can get a bunch of after purchase additions, that may be what happens with this knife, that you buy it, you pick whatever pivot you want initially, which for me would probably be phosphor bronze. And then you can, in addition to that, buy the washers, the Teflon or the bearings, whatever you want. I would be interested in going, you know, phosphor bronze and bearings, but we'll see. Anyway, I did want to mention Chris Reeve brought out a slip joint, which to me is not super compelling. I did kind of look at it, and honestly, you know, that didn't do much to excite me. However, the next two companies, actually 3 companies, wow, this is going to be 4 companies, were all Chinese knife companies that did have some stuff I was pretty interested in. So, We Knife Company. Elijah Isham had some cool stuff, and honestly, they're a little, I don't know, they didn't really excite me as much as sort of the Zeta and the Theta, which is we've known about for a while. Zeta being from We Knives, Theta being from Kizer. But there were some knives that really did excite me. One was the double helix, and that's the one with their vortex lock, which is, you know, their version of an axis lock. So what they've done is they've actually taken the springs and put them on the outside here. I'll roll in a picture so you can see that, but that is really, really cool, and I'm pretty curious to check that out. So I'm gonna definitely be looking to get my hands on a We Knife helix. And guys, honestly, We Knives do such a good job in terms of their overall quality, their smoothness, that kind of stuff, that if you like a We design, you can be pretty confident about the fact that it's going to be good. The other one that is perhaps even more compelling to me is the Wasabi. That is a really exciting sort of Wharncliffe's standard, you know, fairly smooth, plain scale, sort of like what you see here. Just looks like a really, really interesting knife. So the Wasabi is one that I was pretty excited to see, and there had been some pictures of it on Instagram already. Finally, moving over to Kizer. Kizer has a collab with Elijah Isham that's sort of a dagger, and I've got to say that's a hard pass for me. But the 2-3 knives that I was pretty stoked about, the Rhino looks really interesting. Now, my fear is that the way the deployment works on that, it's going to be kind of loosey-goosey and wiggle around a lot. And if that's the case, it's going to be a pass. So this is what I'm going to wait for a few people to get their hands on, but I am really interested in it because I like those stupid, novel, different deployment methods, okay? The next one up is the Odin. and it's a big 4-inch bladed knife. It's got textured carbon fiber. It looks really, really awesome. So that's a knife that's on my list. And finally, the Vindicator. I love the texturing on the titanium there. Really cool. Again, big, heavy duty knife. Both of those are kind of right in my wheelhouse. One knife company that I wanted to talk about just a little is Artisan Cutlery. Let's see, who did a major video on this recently? I think Love Them Knives had like all of their models on his channel recently. And there were a couple channels. Anyway, there are a couple channels that covered them at Blade, and they have some interesting knives. I'm not sure what to think. I'll probably wait till a couple of other reviews come out, but they at least had some designs that I was interested in. And then finally, the two knives that perhaps were the most sort of exciting to me and the ones that I really want to check out are from Riot Knives. The first one is the Kirby Lambert collaboration, which is essentially a Lambert custom built by Riot, which is so cool. I love his designs, and you know, he just does such a great job. And built by Riot Knives is going to be amazing. So that's something pretty cool. The other one is the Jack, and that's the Integral. I think Epic Snuggle Bunny might have even bought one, but that's another knife that I really, really want to check out. So those two from Riot, which are supposed to be available sometime in August, look pretty compelling to me. So there you go, guys. Those are the knives that I'm most interested in from Blade Show this year, the ones that excited me the most. I would love to hear yours down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you were at Blade Show, go ahead and tell us about the experience. Overall, I think we got great coverage from Blade this year. It was great to see that many YouTubers there and people posting to Instagram. And it was really, really awesome to see all that flood of information come out. And it sort of got us all to share in the excitement a little bit. And I've got to say, I really, really like that. I hope you liked this video. I would ask you to like and subscribe so that you don't miss upcoming stuff. There are some cool things coming on the channel. Hope you enjoyed this particular... Wow, I just said that. How about this? That's all I've got for you. We'll talk to you soon.